Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Heart Talk with Coach Abby, the show where we talk about singleness, marriage, and everything in between. I'm so excited that you guys have decided to tune in to the show today. I'm really excited about our guest today. We actually have Coach Abby's husband here on the show. His name is Daryl Brooks. And of course, we have Coach Abby as well. Today, we are going to be talking about what does a man look for in a wife. This is going to be such an interesting episode today. Now, if this is your first time ever tuning into the show, make sure you go ahead and share this video now so that more people will know about Coach Abby, as well as her book, and as well as the show. The different topics that we actually discuss bi-weekly are actually topics that she discusses in her book as well. Now, another great thing about the show is you can actually post your questions and your comments in the comment field. And if you are a type of person that, you don't feel like typing, you can actually give us a call with your questions as well. Now, that telephone number is listed in that description box. Now, make sure you're just patient with us so that we can actually get to your question when you give us a call. Another great thing is, like I said, Coach Abby is actually an author. So we will be able to talk to her a little bit more about this topic. But if you're interested in just learning more about this topic and her book as well, make sure you go ahead and click on that link right there next to the description box, right next to the $sign. I think I said right next to the description box. It's so funny. Like when I say this stuff, I be knowing, but then it might just be turning out totally different. But make sure you click that link right next to the $sign in the description box, and you will be able to read her book summary as well. Now, I keep saying a lot of great things, but another great thing is you can actually talk to Coach Abby. Now, if you don't feel like, maybe asking a question, but let's say that you're interested in Coach Abby's services, click on that link right there next to that old school red telephone, and you will able to sign up for your discovery session with her as well. You can do that right now, free of charge. That you'll have that session with her. Now, if you are in the virtual world, give us a virtual shout out. Let us know that you are in the house. Shout out to Rachel Jordan, as well as Evelyn Whitney, and Ashley Court. Come on, Ashley, girl, I ain't never seen your name. Make sure you go ahead and share this video now. And the remaining other ladies as well, make sure you go ahead and share this video now so that more people will know about Coach Abby as well as her services. Now, if you're tuning from any other page other than Everything Authors or Martinique Y. Brown. Also, what's the name of your group again? Worthy of Love, Counseling, and Coaching, correct?
Yeah, so that Facebook page.
Yeah, so make sure if you're tuning in from one of those 3 pages or even our YouTube page, make sure you come on over to one of those 3 pages and make sure you post your questions and your comments, and I can relay those to Daryl and Coach Abby as well. Now, don't be scared, y'all. Ask Daryl questions. He is here. I know y'all be typing it. I be seeing y'all conversations back and forth with him. In the comments. This is your opportunity. But Coach Abby, let the viewers know just a little bit more about yourself.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Good evening. My name is Coach Abby, and I'm a Christian dating coach, and I help single professional Christian women position themselves to attract the man that God has for them.
Definitely. Now, Coach Abby, why did you feel like it was important to even discuss this topic?
Yeah, I believe that this was important because many women, want to learn from men and want a man's perspective on what it is a man is looking for, when it comes to a wife. So many times we get advice from other women, right? Mm-hmm. So it's just good just to have that male, perspective and, just for, women to be able to, ask a man that, is married, that's doing well, what it is that other like-minded men, such as Daryl is looking for when it comes to marriage. So
yeah.
yeah.
And I don't want to keep Dayrl out, but Dayrl, let the viewers know just a little bit more about yourself.
Well, let's see. What do you want to know other than being married to Coach Abby? Oh, well, yeah, I'm a father of two.
Uh-huh. You're so
Work for
funny.
the
This is great. I just want to like
work for the
you a
federal
father.
government. Been working for the federal government for what the past, oh God, since I was, I guess, off and on since I was 18.
Oh wow, that's
Working
good.
cybersecurity. Have a master's degree. Let's see what else.
That's good.
Okay.
That's good.
You're so funny. So now, Dayrl, what's your thought about this? Like, what do you think about, this topic? Did you feel that, it's important for our viewers to get a male perspective, when it comes to what a man is actually looking for a wife?
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes you gotta have to be kind of realistic, and sometimes when you get around like-minded people,
Yeah.
people of the same gender, we could all talk about the same thing and perceive that as reality. Just
Yeah.
because we're around like-minded people or around the same gender, so we all see things the same way. So we may perceive that as actual reality, where that's not the actual reality of of the situation.
Right.
So
Right. True. Now, Coach Abby, I know that we talked a little bit about your book, and we told the viewers that you are an author. How does your book discuss this topic, if at all?
Yeah, so the book starts with what a woman needs to look for when it comes to knowing if he's worth the first date. So after I give those strategies around if you should even accept the first date, then throughout that dating relationship, when it comes to dating, when it comes to commitment, when it comes to engagement, what are some things that you need to look for from a man to see that, he's serious about making you his wife. So I talk about, is he introducing you to his close family and friends? Is he, talking about you? Is he, sharing with the world that, he has this, he's in this great relationship? Is he putting a title to the relationship? So those are just some of the things that I discuss, in the book to help women to know if he's, really serious about pursuing you.
Now, I know that a lot of times we may joke about this, but do you think a woman should look into if the guy actually maybe changes his relationship status on Facebook and posts pictures on you, about you or of you on Facebook? Like, should that even be a big deal?
I believe so, because we post about everything else on social media. Right. So people post about new jobs, they pets, other celebratory events within their lives. So why not, change the status if this is a serious relationship that could, lead into marriage. And I'm not saying to keep changing your status for every person that, you date, but if this person is, serious, you all have talked about marriage, the relationship is moving, towards, you're committed with one another and it's moving from commitment to engagement, then I would say to change that relationship status.
I know that's right. And I need you to post some pictures up about me. You need to put something up there. So now, Dayrl, I want to ask you, in your opinion, how can a woman effectively showcase she's wife material without crossing over into wifely duties before the vows? I thought that was a good question from one of our viewers.
That's a good question.
I think by displaying that she has a firm sense of self, and then and basically communicating like what it is that she wants, like where is she going, what does she want out of life, so that God can know, okay, are they aligning as far as like what they want and where they're going? So I think that's first how she can display that. And so then he can in turn tell her, okay, well, these are my expectations of what I'm looking for in a wife. So then if there's like some huge disparities up front, then you guys know that, that this may not work, or if there's some things that, you may need further clarification on, or some things that, okay, well, she sounds real good. Okay, well then let's keep talking, let's keep dating, let's see how this goes, let's see if you can walk the walk. But at least talk it first, at least be able to communicate what it is that, who it is that you are and what it is that you want.
So talk to us a little bit about, you mentioned bringing something up in beginning. Now, I know that some women, and some women, I think, may want to keep, everything steady in the beginning, don't want to, rock the boat. You don't want this guy to not like you anymore. How important do you think it is for a woman to bring up an issue? Maybe, maybe he did mention something, in the beginning of, I want to even say like maybe the relationship, or maybe even this friendship, maybe they're interested in, they like each other. Mm-hmm. What's your thought on being just really open and honest in the beginning like that to the man?
Are you talking about any particular subject matter, or are you just being in general?
In general, because I know that you were saying that, there's a conversation that needs to be had. And so, yes, I can ask you, for example, I can ask you, Daryl, a particular question, but maybe I need a follow-up question with your response, but I might be hesitant because I'm like, oh, Martinique, okay, you haven't been in a relationship in like 10 years. He's cute. Should I rock the boat?
I would say it matters the magnitude of the subject matter, the magnitude, I guess the general magnitude of it, objectively, and then the magnitude of it to you. So how big of that, whatever that issue is something that he said, or that you're not clear about. Like, if that's something major to do, then bring it up like as soon as possible, because the worst thing you can do is waste each other's time. And, and that thing you wanted clarity on, you're like now 2 months into a relationship, and now you just find out that hey, he wanted a stripper pole in his basement or something like that. You know what I'm saying? To be extreme, you know what I'm saying? But that he slightly mentioned something or joked about it, and you didn't like the joke. So, but you decided to bring it up 2 months later. You found out, no, he was dead serious. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, just to be an extreme example, but yeah, I would say depending on, I mean, and when I say objectively, if we're like talking about like the issue of something like sexual or something, generally that's major. So that's something that, that you're going to want clarity on, especially if he says something that may not be aligned with your sexual values, or, whatever it may be, you definitely want clarification on that. So again, you're not wasting each other's time.
Definitely. And I think the crazy thing is sometimes we'll hear his response about something, and you be like, okay, I'm not going to say nothing. And then 2 months not later, good. You trying to bring it up again. Mm-hmm. Not good. Girl, didn't I answer that question?
And then you couldn't turn around and get mad at him because, well, he said what he said up front, and then you just, you either stay silent about it or you made assumptions, and then when it comes up later and you found out that no, that's what he really meant, mm-hmm. You can't get mad at him.
Yeah, because we will try to change you in a heartbeat. We're like, oh, don't you worry, Daryl, you'll change your mind. So now this question is coming to both of you guys. So we'll ask you first, Coach Abby. How can a woman prepare to be a wife?
Oh, wow. That's something that doesn't happen, overnight.
Mhm.
because there are so many layers when it comes to, becoming a wife. But the first thing I would say is, her character, being up under a mentor that is
Yeah.
a wife, and seeing how that wife, how she portrays godly characteristics of what it means to being a wife. So I definitely, actually talk about that, in my book, for single women to seek out, godly women that they know that are practicing what it looks like, to, be a wife, so they can begin studying,
Mhm.
as far as, following that person's example of what that looks like on a daily basis. I will also say, if there's any past traumas that they've experienced, or any, past dating woes, or things that they may not be able to get over in their past, I would definitely say to seek counseling,
Yeah.
to heal, from that trauma, because you definitely don't want to bring that, into a marital relationship, as well too. So yeah, that healing piece, and whatever personal or other personal development or goals that you may have, that's, a good way of, becoming a wife. If you
Yeah.
want to become healthier, if you want to pay off debt, if you want to reach a certain level in your career, continuing to, work on your own personal development as well is, a good way to, become, to be a better you, when you're, joined together with your future husband.
Definitely. So now, as a you know licensed therapist yourself, if a woman really wanted to maybe start preparing herself for marriage, how would a prospective client come to a counselor? Would they just say, I'm interested in getting my life together so I can be a great wife? Or should it just strictly be counselor, counselor J, I want to just get my life together? Should it all be focused on like becoming a great spouse, or should I just table it as I want to just, really just start getting myself together?
Yeah, it's really about starting to get yourself together. And then those conversations can lead, because I have a client now that came to me because she was having trouble getting over her ex, and
Oh,
that was a
wow.
very toxic, relationship for her. So she's just now working, to build her self-worth, to build, her confidence, learning what it means to be obedient to Christ. So that's what she's
Mm,
working on, but she has her mind open, that when she gets ready for that next relationship, now she knows what to look for. Now she knows what to say, what to accept, not what to accept. But right now, her main goal was, from coming to me back in June, she's like, I need help with getting over my ex, because I
good.
feel stuck, I'm bitter, and I need to get over him in order to, have me to become a better person.
Wow. I think that is so powerful, because I just would never think that somebody would go to therapy for that. A lot of times we'll just go to a family member, or,
Mm-hmm.
we'll just, especially, us as Christians, we'll just say, well, I'll just keep praying about it,
Right, right.
and we won't seek that professional help as well with it. I want to give a shout out to Bai. She said it's so great to have a male's perspective. Bai and Regina Hill. Shout out to Regina for tuning into the show as well. Make sure you guys go ahead and share this video now as well. So same question for you, Daryl, that I asked Coach Abby. How can a woman prepare to be a wife from your perspective?
Know herself, know her values, know her value, know her standards. That's how she become. That's how she can know. That's how she can learn how to become a wife. Once she knows those things, then she knows what type of man she wants to attract, or what type of man is not for her. So
Yeah.
when she knows those things, then she's going to get closer to being with the type of man she wants to be with.
Yeah, and just to hear your thoughts on this, Daryl, sometimes because I'm in one of these, it's not even, let me tell you something. So the crazy thing is, it's not even a relationship group, but all of the posts are always talking about relationships. And this is a group for people that lives in Orlando. I'm thinking like, y'all supposed to be talking about Orlando events, like everything, and it's for Black people. But sometimes you'll get those posts where they'll make a post and then the woman will make a comment, and then a lot of the men will say, well, that's why you single now. You know, do you think that no, I'm telling you, y'all should be glad y'all are out that single game.
Oh, God knows I am.
It is not fun. But Daryl, is there a way that guys can actually kind of see if a woman's expectations are maybe too far-fetched, or maybe her standards are too high and maybe she needs to change some things?
Yeah, by I guess by knowing if he knows what he wants, and generally what I guess guys like him want, then I guess that guy would have to himself would have to have a good barometer for what a healthy relationship or a healthy marriage is. So he would have to be able to look at something and say, you know what, the men that I see that are in relationships or in healthy marriages, you know, and last time I checked, they're not all 6 foot. They're not all six figures. They're not. They're not all of these things. All of these things that a lot of women say that they want, but they're in healthy, happy relationships. So I would think that a guy can have that, but he would have to be able to channel it. But he would have to be able to channel it somewhere from being able to say whether it's his parents or friends relationship or mentor relationship, some sort of male female healthy male female relationship that he's drawn that from, to be able to say, yeah, that's why you single now, because not saying that's a good statement, but it'll be coming from a place where, because I know I've seen what it takes, or I know what a healthy relationship looks like. And what you're describing has nothing to do with that.
That's good. That's good. So now, being open and honest about this, Daryl, will a guy give a female a chance if he sees that she is someone of great potential, but her standards are just a little bit too unrealistic or too high?
Honestly, to give you an honest question, I would say it depends on how many options he has. Because if that man has a lot of options, and she comes to the table tripping,
I didn't even think about that. Because I be thinking I'm the only option.
I mean, you know what? Depending on how many options he has, maybe not, or it depends. It's almost like not a stranger to him or something, right? Someone that he's been interested in pursuing for a long time. Maybe, but I mean, that's like asking, is the guy there to try to change her? So if her standards are really high and obnoxious, and that guy has a lot of options, he's not gonna waste too much of his time trying to make something serious with her. If over he may still keep talking to her or whatever, because she may be many a few options. And and if she starts to see changes, or starts to see, maybe he could give her a chance, but it all depends.
Well, see, now that makes me okay. Just thinking as a female, a single female, that could make me a little upset. And Coach Abby, you let me know what you think about this, because if I like this guy, and maybe my standards are a little bit too high, but nobody has ever brought it up. Nobody has ever told me this. You got multiple options. You think that I'm great potential, but you never say anything to me because you have these other options. Is this a question? I'll ask you first, Coach Abby. Is this a question that maybe I, as a female, should ask him? Like, do you think my expectations are a little bit too high? Because I need dialogue from him to see if, because guys won't bring things up like that. They'll just move on. It's like you said, Daryl, if they have other options, they will ghost you and they will not say anything to you and stop calling, stop texting. That's how they do now. I don't know where this generation came from, but they don't want no conflict. So, Coach Abby, do you think after this guy has seen my personality a little bit and I've let him know what I expect, from, let's say, a boyfriend or a husband, and he hears it, should I say to him something like, well, what do you think about that? Or just to get that dialogue going, what you think? And we're going based off of what Dayrl said when he was saying, depending on what his options are, and like if we should even have this conversation. What's your thoughts, Coach Abby?
Yeah, I believe the question should be had. Because that conversation needs to be had from the beginning, because you all are just getting to know each other. So if you lay out, what it is that, you're looking for, let's say, you're saving, you want to not engage in premarital sex, before marriage, or, you want to date within a certain time frame in order to get married. You should definitely state those expectations to him. And if he feels like that they're too much for him, to meet, then I think that dialogue should be made from the very beginning to know whether or not you all should continue or not with this relationship.
Yeah. I think that's great. That's a great response. Now, Dayrl, we are going to I would like to hear your response on that as well. But the viewers are saying that it sounds like you, Dayrl, are going in and out. Is there a way that maybe you can push the computer over a little bit? Because we're hearing Coach Abby great, but Dayrl, you're faded in and out. So, Dayrl, what's your thoughts about that? Would that be a question that you would like that female to ask you in the beginning, after y'all talk, after she tells you what she is looking for in a guy? Do you want me to ask you the next question of like, what do you think about that, Dayrl?
Well, I have two different perspectives on that. The first perspective I have, it kind of goes back to what I said about like what a guy's looking for in a wife, and that's someone who knows like what they want, and someone who knows where they're going, and who has a vision. So by turning around and asking me that, it comes across like maybe there's some type of shakiness as far as like, well, why are you asking me? I mean, those are your standards. I mean, if that's what you want, that's what you want. But and so the other perspective is, it's like, I mean, what do you? I mean, I guess, what do you want? I mean, what do you want me to do? I mean, you asking me that. What do you want me to do about that? I mean, I can't tell you. I can sit here and tell you what I personally think. Are those standards too high? They could be too high for me. I feel like what may happen if we engage in that conversation and we start talking about, things how you should talk to a guy, or things you look for a guy, whatever. I may start looking at you maybe more of as a friend than someone then I'm looking to pursue, because these are conversations that I may have with female friends or with other male friends, platonic relationships, where if I'm pursuing somebody seriously, I'm sitting there and I'm gauging, or what we're saying is what we're saying aligned. So if you're saying something that's misaligned with what I'm saying, well, I don't want you to sit there and change it just to match with me or just to be with me, because what's going to end up happening is that if you try to do that, then we're going to get involved in something, and you're not going to be happy, or you're not going to be fulfilled. I'm going to be unfulfilled because you haven't made that change for yourself, or you haven't made that change because you came to that conclusion on your own that, you know what, maybe that's not maybe that's an unhealthy standard to have. But, you know, instead of changed it to maybe impress me, or change it to kind of fit with me. I think there's a difference though, and saying that, okay, if we both sit down and we have these differences and standards or whatever, and there's some things you're willing to compromise on, that's different than turn around and asking me, what do I think? You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. And I really feel like that's a totally another show. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, it's so difficult. You know what I'm saying? You have met somebody that you're interested in. Maybe your expectations are, you know, far-fetched. But what if you don't have that male? What if you don't have those male friends that's telling you, okay, Martinique, you know, that's a little bit out there, you know? It's like I have to maybe wait till I get to that eighth guy that is really aligned with my I don't mind changing my expectations, but how would I ever even know that it's too far out there if nobody that I'm interested in is willing to tell me?
How often have those standards worked out for you?
Well, you know, the standards may not have worked out that well, but you know, then you go to, well, Martinique, you shouldn't lower your standards for nobody.
Well, it matters, because if your current standards haven't worked as far as finding that Mr. Right, then whether it looks like finding another male to bounce that off of, or whether that looks like a therapist or somebody to really bring that to before you go and try to date another guy, then you know, then it, I mean, that's me. That's how you kind of do the process of elimination. It's okay, here are my standards. Okay, so let me just go to maybe a platonic, a guy, a casual acquaintance, or friend, or a therapist, or a coach, and let me bounce these ideas off them before I go and try to date again and see what they're telling me. Because obviously something that I'm doing, or something that or something on my list here is not working, or maybe unrealistic, and I need some help on deducing that. But you shouldn't wait till you get to the date and ask your date to help you with it, because then, you know, you say you don't have any friends. Oh, I may become that friend to you, but that's on me. It's that friend to you, because then I don't want to be with somebody who has to sit there and figure out what they want out of me, and out of what they want out of the relationship.
Yeah. So what Dayrl is saying, y'all better find some males to bounce these ideas off of.
Well, not necessarily a male, but it could be a male, it could be a therapist, it could be a coach, somebody whose opinion you respect and who has the results that you want, who looks like the result that you want. A happily married person, you know, who has the type of relationship that you want, to maybe bounce that off of them, or a professional to bounce that off of them, to really gain an understanding of, you know, okay, what is it that what I'm asking for really unrealistic? And sometimes it may not even be that. And sometimes it's that what you're asking for is so rare, is that it's hard to find. Because that was the case with myself, because I was looking for a woman, me as a man, for a woman who was willing to wait till marriage. So I mean,
and
you
what
know,
we talking about? Because you said willing to wait for marriage.
Sex. Okay. Willing to wait for sex to men, who was willing to do. Me as the man, I was, you know, that was something that I wanted to do. So surprisingly, no, that made my search like more difficult. So it's like, it wasn't that I had these realistic. I didn't say that her body has to look like this or whatever. I mean, of course, she had to be at least be pretty, but you know, pretty one's weight. You know, things with her, you know, our values, our standards had to be aligned. But, you know, it's just some things is that if you're asking for something exceptional on a more, what's the word I'm trying to look for? On a more moral basis or value basis that is is rare in our current culture, then that could be what it is too. But you still need that clarification. And I had people that I bounced that off of to check that, am I asking for too much or whatever? Said, no, you're not asking for too much, but you're asking, what you're asking for is rare. But then at the same time, I want an exceptional, a healthy marriage, which, seems like in this culture is rare. So I don't want what everybody else has. I want something that God has for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, man, that's excellent. Man, okay, if Daryl, I know you might be putting in a compromising position, but if there's any other guys that's like you that is waiting and, for waiting, if other guys that's waiting and practicing abstinence, send them our way. Okay,
they're married. I'm sorry, I don't know any single guys.
Well, I think we're gonna start praying for you to get introduced to some single men that's waited, because that's a rarity right there. For guys that's waiting to have sex before marriage, it is crazy. And these are Christian guys that I'm talking about. So Regina, I do have a question for you, because she posed the question, what about friends or family, even women, telling you that your standards are too high? Can you explain that a little bit more, Regina? And I can ask that question to Coach Abby or Daryl, and you can specify, Regina, who you want that question to go to. So now, Coach Abby, if you notice that a man wants you to take care of him as a mother, i.e., cook, clean, take care of your kids mainly by yourself while you're dating, would you bring this to his attention or make a decision if this is a red flag for you and quit dating the guy?
Well, when you're dating, I would encourage you to eat cooking, cleaning, taking care of his kids.
Okay, hold on for 1 minute, Coach Abby. So it sounded like you faded out a little bit. Okay. Now try it again.
Okay, so as a woman that's dating, is that better?
No, it's still fading out a little bit. Now starts talking.
Okay. So a woman that's dating, I would not encourage her to cook, clean, or take care of anybody's children. So I wouldn't encourage that at all. So I'm not exactly sure, that's how I would tell that woman not to be engaging in those type of, activities that are reserved in becoming a wife. Now, as you all are dating, those questions need to be asked, or there needs to be discernment on what it sounds like you're dating a mama's boy. So what does that mama's boy look like? Is a mama boy totally dependent on their mom? Do they want this woman to be exactly like their mom? Or they comparing this woman to their mom? Then those are the symptoms of a mama's boy. So if you believe that you're dating a mama's boy, then I would tell you, to run from, that relationship. But I think there's something that, the man and a woman need to discuss while dating. What are those roles and responsibilities? How do they view a wife's role? How do they view a husband's role when it comes to, a marriage? But biblically, the wife is the keeper of her home. So naturally, when it comes to, cooking, cleaning, and taking care of the children, most of those responsibilities do fall on the wife. That doesn't mean you're acting like anybody's mother. That's just naturally what comes to the woman, and that's how God, created us to be that nurture and that nurture and keeper of the home. While God created the man to work outside of the home. Now, I'm not saying that a husband and wife can combine those roles. Like, Daryl helps out, around the house. He helps with the kids, taking them to school, changing diapers and things like that. I'm not saying that, a man and a woman cannot combine those roles, but I am saying that majority of the time, that cooking and cleaning and taking care of the kids, that does come mostly, from the woman.
Yeah, yeah. For some reason the volume is still going in and out. We heard your response, but like I said, it was still going in and out. Do you have any like additional mics plugged in or anything like that?
No, I wonder, is it a Facebook glitch?
Okay, well, we pray for us, y'all. Pray for the mic. But with that though, Coach Abby, I had a guy when I was in college, and he asked me if I could wash his clothes, and I actually did it. And I think the reason why I did it is because I wanted him, and it's so crazy, I wanted him to know that when we got married, if we got married, I wouldn't mind washing his clothes. How do you or do you think that it's important to do those things, or is it all based off of letting him know verbally, I don't mind doing these things, but when I get married? Because sometimes you can fall into, well, I want him to see that I can cook. I want him to see that, I don't mind helping him out. Maybe he works and I have a key to his apartment or something, or his house, and I'll come in. Like, how do you not blur those type of like things?
Well, I guess my question would be, do in a dating situation, I would look at, do you do those things for yourself? If you do those things for yourself, and then we're combining households, then why wouldn't you do that for both of us? Or why, I guess to some extent, why would you stop cleaning? Why would you stop cooking? Why would you stop doing a lot of things that you would do for yourself and not do it for the household? So, if it's one thing to need help in doing those things, I guess, as far as, time and, making time for other things and, throughout the day, that's understandable. But just to flat out say, I'm not your mom and I'm not doing any of that I'm a 2001 woman. But were you doing that? Were you doing that before for yourself? If you weren't doing that for yourself, then to me, that's like you're bringing in some sort of selfish spirit into the marriage. Because if you're doing that for yourself, then you could do it for us. If you need help in doing it for us, then I can help out with that. But I would at least expect that minimum that whatever you're doing for you, that you're going to do for us.
Yeah. I know that's right. Don't stop cleaning now. If you're just now tuning in, you are actually watching Heart Talk with Coach Abby, where we talk about singleness, marriage, and everything in between. Today, we're talking about what does a man look for in a wife. This is such a great discussion that we're having. We also have our special guest, who is Dayrl Brooks, aka Coach Abby's husband. Make sure you go ahead and share this video now so that more people will know about Coach Abby, as well as her services as well. Coach Abby, if you could just tell our viewers a little bit more about the services that you offer.
Yeah, so I'm a Christian dating coach, and so I help again coaching, and for those ladies that are in Maryland and DC, I also offer counseling services as well.
That's excellent. That's excellent. So, like I said, if you're interested in talking with Coach Abby after the show, you can definitely go ahead and click on that link that's next to that red telephone, and you will actually be able to right now schedule your discovery session with Coach Abby. Click on that link. You can schedule that as well. So now this question is coming to both of you guys, and I'll start with you, Coach Abby. In your opinion, what does it mean to be a wife?
Wow. So what it means to be a wife is respecting her husband. We were just actually talking about this a week ago, like a conversation we overheard about submission. And so we talk about how, submission is such a dirty word when it comes to today's culture, because women are, like, well, I'm independent. I don't want no man, ruling me, and I can do this, I can do that. But really, being a wife is, the Bible says that wives are submit, to her husband. So really, what I look at submission is being respectful. That Daryl is the head of the home, as God has, called him to be. Not saying that he's, dictating my life, or he's dictating what goes in, and what he's dictating how he's dictating, overruling what happens in the home, but he looks at me as his, as his equal partner. So I believe that's like really the main thing that I'm seeing for, women, is really learning what it means to be submissive, what it means to be in obedience, when it comes to that role as a wife.
Definitely, definitely. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because, we do so many times talk about this submissive wife, and I have no problem being submissive. But like the word also teaches that the man is supposed to be following God, and so that's where I struggle with. If I don't see, if as a man, if as a female, as a Christian woman, if I don't see that man is following God, there's no way that I'm going to allow myself to be submissive to somebody that is not allowing God to be the head of their household, because it's like, you can't lead me if you and our kids. I'm definitely not bringing no kids here with you. You can't let Jesus be your head.
Right.
But what's your thoughts about that, Daryl? In your opinion, what does it mean for a woman to be a wife?
A wife is a female helpmate who contributes to the overall vision of the marriage.
Mm-hmm. So now, how early? I know you just mentioned a vision for the marriage. How early is it okay to have that conversation? And I'll ask you, Coach Abby, like, what's the overall goal of a marriage? Do I have to wait until I'm months down the line in a relationship with this guy?
No, I believe that happens early on in the dating relationship. I don't ever encourage women to keep putting things off and keep, dating without having these serious conversations, because you don't want to waste your time. Mm-hmm. So it's important to have these discussions early. Like, does he even have a vision for marriage? Is marriage, even, his goal? Does he have a vision for, his life? Have those conversations, early on. I think a lot of people just jump straight into the quote unquote fun things, or the easy conversations, or they don't want to really, dig deep and understand who this person is, what this person, is about. So definitely have those conversations early on, so you know that you're not you're not misleading a person, or that you all have the same, values aligned.
Definitely. And Regina made a good point. She said that the Bible talks for us to submit to one another. She said we don't talk about this enough. I think that is a great statement as well. Now, Bai asked a question, and I'll ask you, Daryl. She asked, how long did you all date?
Let's see. We dated for a total of 3 years. 1 year long distance, 1 year in person, 1 year engaged.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a good amount of time. So now, Coach Abby, how do you know? Okay, this came from one of the viewers. How do you know a man is looking for a wife and not just a companion / temporary relationship?
By his conversations. What conversations are you all having?
Mhm.
How is his actions matching those conversations? Has he told you his but has he shared with you? I think I talked about this at a previous show. Has he shared with you his values? What are his goals? What are his beliefs? What is his vision? For marriage. Does he have a vision for marriage? Has he discussed with you or included you and what this vision, actually, looks like? Is he respecting you as a daughter of Christ? How is his actions, matching up to exactly what he says? That's how you will know. And also what I talked about earlier, is he, are you public with him, right? Or is he hiding you? Is he telling his mom and other, his father, other close family members about you? Is he talking about you with, his friends? These are the things that would show you, that he's ready, for a wife, and he's actually ready, to settle down. So those are just some of the things to look for when dating.
That is really good that you mentioned if he's treating you like a daughter of Christ. And I don't think that we really like take into consideration that relationship that we do have with Christ, and in turn, is that person that we are dating, are we treating that person like a son of God? And also, is he treating us like a daughter of Christ as well? Um, I don't know. I just sometimes I look at these relationships and I just be thinking, like, how in the world could you say that you love this person and you treat them like this? So I think that that's a
That's
bigger issue.
because, I'm sorry, Martinique, and I want to say, and that's because what I'm saying, and what I'm working with some ladies, is they don't know their own value and worth.
Yeah.
They don't know who they are in Christ, because if they knew who they were in Christ, they wouldn't allow anybody else to treat them that way. And
Mm-hmm.
vice versa with a man too, to allow a woman to use and abuse him and talk to him any type of way. And I think it comes from that lack of self-worth, that lack of confidence, that lack of self-love, not being confident in who they are in Christ. So again, that all comes from that internal work that needs to, be done.
Definitely. I think that is great. That's a great point. I know that we talk about here a lot about, a woman developing herself, and we mentioned a lot about talking to that professional first. Why do you think females are so hesitant to come to a therapist specifically for relationships, especially because you are a relationship coach? Why is that something that we don't even think about, when we are struggling to have a relationship with
Mm-hmm.
someone?
Yeah, I believe a lot of times it's because women don't believe they have the problem, right? They don't want to look at themselves. They don't want to peel those layers, and really become raw with themselves, right? It's easier to, point the blame on the man. Oh, there's not a lot of good men out here, or all men are dogs. All men want, are sex. But you may be overlooking the man that's 5'8" that loves Christ and wants to, be pure and wait till marriage, but you're overlooking him for the man that's 6 feet and making over $100,000, right? And so that's you not wanting to. Okay, let's really take a look at those expectations to see, if those are really, realistic. So I really do believe it's all about, not really wanting to look at look at yourself, because that's what it means when you're saying, okay, that's when I know I need to be vulnerable. And so many people are not vulnerable within themselves. They're not transparent with themselves. They want to continue to have up this wall. They want to continue to have this facade like they have it all together. They don't need any help. It's not me. It's all about them. I'd rather stay single before I do this and that. And and really they're not willing. They're not in a place to really become vulnerable. That's really what it boils down to.
And Regina said, Abby out here preaching. Um, Regina, I do have a question for you, because this is one of the questions that Regina just asked. Should your spouse be your friend? I feel like, Regina, like, can you bring more clarification to that question? Because I do
I
think that
understand it.
that'd just be a simple like yes.
Yeah, no, I understand it. I would, to answer that, I would say that foundationally, yes. Like when you're, I guess when you're getting to know each other, I mean, I would expect to kind of, as the foundation to build off, friendship should be essential. That you're able, I guess, to have a level of relaxation, and I guess strong communication with each other, enough to be able to say that this is my best friend, that this is my friend, that's what's going to cause you to have that level of transparency and comfortability. I mean, I would say that in itself is what I attribute to our ability to start our relationship from a long distance, because we built up a strong friendship. I mean, I have literally talked to her every day since the last 12 years, like literally every day. So, I would say that's essential. Yes.
Yeah. And so Regina, when I asked Regina that question, her comment was, there's so much conversation around getting to marriage. It feels like we're jumping over becoming friends and
Right.
liking each other as people.
Right.
And I think that that's a great point, Regina. I have to see that this is somebody that I just enjoy being around. It's just some people in your life that it's like, I have no problem being around this person.
And I guess that's what I guess can kind of help you from just going through the motions of dating. When you're dating somebody, it's just like checking off like all these boxes. Like, oh well, the first date we talked about this and that. This one, well, second date, well, and third date you're kind of expecting like your kiss or something. I'm just I don't know what the rules are now, but you're kind of, so it's like you're going through these motions, but like you said, you're not even asking yourself, would you even like this person? You know what I'm saying? I mean, not are you just attracted, to them externally, but I mean, do you even like this person? Would this even be someone you hang out with, or somebody who you can talk to, who you could bring your issues with, or just have a conversation about your day with, and you guys can laugh about some things, or you would really want to spend some serious time with them, just hanging out. You're not looking at things just totally through a sexual or whatever lens. Is that you're trying to get to know the person, and when you're getting to know the person, that's how you build that friendship, because it's like you actually like the person, you're actually attracted to the person. So I guess that's the way I look at that, is once you kind of remove those lenses of oh God, this person's so hot or whatever, and it's just like, okay, but who is this person? And that goes back to knowing what you want. Okay, is this a type of person that fits into the vision that I see for my life, or is this the type of person that I want to wake up to every day, or want to spend majority of my time with, for the rest of my life, or at least for the near future?
I think that those are so many great points in there, and I thank you, Regina, for making that comment. John Proctor said, great advice, y'all. John, make sure you go ahead and share this video now, so that more people will know about the show, as well as Coach Abby and her services. But what I want to hear both of you guys' thoughts about this next comment. So, and we'll start with you, Coach Abby. So many times we'll have that male friend, and he's a really great person to be around with. Like Daryl was explaining, I enjoy hanging around this person, but you always think about those things when people say, but you don't want to mess up the friendship. You don't want to take it there. What's your thoughts about that, Coach Abby?
So when you have a great friend and you don't want to cross those boundaries.
Correct. Because you value your friendship so much.
So you saying that the person is asking, should they cross those boundaries with this
Yeah,
friend?
because some people are hesitant to even start a relationship with a good friend that they know, because they don't want to lose that friendship if the relationship does not work. What's your thoughts about that? Because I know we just talked about having that friend, that person that could be a potential, and you really enjoy being around that person, but you might have those females that step back and say, nah, I don't even want it to go there. Because Coach Abby, I know that you are a woman of the 21st century. You teach us to, have that feminine energy. You want us to, you don't mind us having those conversations. And we do talk a lot about meeting that stranger. But what's your thoughts about, and I know this is going to another question, but what's your thoughts about having that friendship with a really great guy and you are interested in him? He hasn't made a move on you yet, but y'all friends, y'all know each other. Is it okay to talk about that type of stuff with him and possibly seeing where it's going, where it goes?
I wouldn't say there's nothing wrong with it. I would just maybe, just like I talk about rejection with the stranger, that there could be some rejection there with that relationship. That's so true. I mean, you can, approach it and see if it's something you all could try, or if he hasn't mentioned it, you mention it and he's saying no, let's just say friends. It's still that same type of, maybe not type of thing. Yeah. But you just, the only difference is that you know this person.
Yeah.
So Martin, to answer your question, I want to go back to something I heard you mention some prior shows about a friend that you had, and you guys made an agreement that, correct me if I'm wrong, that if you ever got serious with somebody and they did not care for the friendship or did not like the friendship, you guys would cut it off. That was the agreement, right?
Correct. Man, so, Coach Abby, you gotta keep her, girl. Remember that?
So I guess from that perspective, is that you gotta think, okay, let's say that friend, right? That the friend of the opposite gender, that friend, they can meet someone and that person and they build that same level of friendship with them that they have with you. Well, the way that other woman may look at it, she may see you as a threat or see you as competition, because it's like, well, I'm his best friend. I want this level of intimacy of friendship with him. And it may not always be like that, but I guess for him, he's going to make a choice. Okay. So the friendship is going to eventually change regardless. So it's that while you guys may have been one way in your single season, once one or both of you gets with someone, whether the other person likes it or not, that friendship is going to change. So given that, is that, well, regardless of whether you give the friend a chance at a relationship or not, the friendship is inevitably going to change. So it's like, well, do you want it to change on your terms or do you want it to change on someone else's terms? So it's like, if you, and now sometimes when I hear that question, it always makes me think there's more. There has to be something like more to that. Like, are they just like not physically attracted to the person? Or is this somebody that they may have grown up with and they see them like more like a sibling or something like that? But someone to say that, this person's a great person and this or that or whatever, I just don't want to mess up the friendship. Yeah. It's that, the friendship is going to change regardless. So it's that, take a chance, shoot your shot. I mean, I guess that's the way I look at it, especially if you know deep down inside that, you are attracted to the person.
Yeah.
You're just not pursuing them out of some sort of like fear, whether it's fear of rejection from them, fear out of ruining the friendship. But if the basis of you all's relationship is the friendship, then you guys are already off to a good start. Because if you guys, let's say, start dating and you guys go on dates, well, the dates themselves just shouldn't feel too awkward. It's just now it's that you guys are just kind of changing the trajectory of what you all are doing. Like first, you all are just friends, and now you say, okay, well, we want to kind of change the directory and say, well, let's see if we can, what else we got going on. Let's kind of get to know each other on a more deeper level, whatever. And you guys make the decide that, hey, that this is a good direction for us to go in, or it may not work. And depending on how bad things get, it could either go totally south, or you guys just stay friends. I've seen that. I've seen that too. But I just think that why not?
That's what I said. Why not?
I guess I'd say, unless you're just flat out just not, enough about the person where, and I have some friends like that too. I have some female friends like that too. I know enough about you where I just say, I know that just wouldn't work. And we're just better off friends because of our similarities and differences. But if that's not the case,
Yeah, and I definitely agree. And the friend that we're referring, discussing, hopefully he's not watching, but the friend that I'm talking, it really was like that. Like, he was interested in me, but I just wasn't attracted to him like that. And that I can honestly say that's one of my struggles. Like I have to be, and I don't want to call it a struggle, but I have to be physically attracted to you, like that. And
hey, you're human.
Huh?
You're human.
Yeah. And so that's where we were, with that. And Regina also made the comment of, one of the other individual just may be afraid to make that move as well. But I feel like the thing is, you just never know until you shoot your shot, and so it's like you can't be afraid to just take that risk, with that as well. So I definitely appreciate all of our viewers who tuned in. I definitely appreciate you, Daryl, for just taking time to really just give us a great male perspective on this topic as well. Coach Abby, of course, this was just a great show, and I just love hearing your perspective on things, because so many times we're not hearing a Christian woman's perspective on different topics, and especially when it comes to relationships and singleness and things like that. Make sure you guys continue to share this video, and make sure that you check out that description box. If you're interested in Coach Abby's book, make sure you click that link next to that $sign, and you will be able to read the book summary of Coach Abby's book.
Right, and it's also available in Audible too.
Yeah. So you guys that's still driving to work, if you're still driving to work, or you like to listen to your books while you washing dishes, just practicing normal things that you do as a single person, it's preparing you for marriage, but make sure you check out that book as well. Again, if you're interested in just having a one-on-one conversation with Coach Abby, and you could be nationwide, when it comes to her relationship coaching, or you can be worldwide, as long as you have an internet connection. But make sure you click on that link next to that red telephone so you can schedule your discovery session with Coach Abby as well. We definitely hope that you guys have a great remainder of the night, and thank you again so much for tuning in to another episode of Heart Talk with Coach Abby. We hope that you guys have a great night. Talk to you all later.
Bye.